Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I am back and I'm back on track with all the good joy, happiness, love, moving forward type stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, yesterday I filmed a video on a heavier topic and it was all about being in challenging times, possibly depression, etc. And if you haven't seen that, if you're on YouTube, click I never remember what side it is. One of these sides. And if you're on IGTV, it will be marked with depression in IGTV. But yesterday, so I talked about 10 points that kind of came to mind when I thought about that time frame, which was for me the last 2 or 3 years that I've gone through such a big transformation. And today I want to talk about and share this is going to seem intimidating, but the top 20 influencers that helped me out of that time frame. And I'm going to try to run through this as fast as possible because I really don't try to make these videos long. They just so happen to get long sometimes. But I'm going to share them all just in case one or two people kind of stick out for you that you want to research more or that you want to get into. And again, I just want to premise with saying that, I truly believe that it is in our most challenged moments and time frames that we end up and can end up being so grateful for. Because what happens is when we're stuck in a comfortable zone and we're just kind of comfortable, then we don't push ourselves, right? And I'll give you an example. So if I was comfortable for the most part up in my life as terms of happiness, I wasn't like ecstatic, I was okay, I was like, trying to be joyful, positive, and all these other things. But when I hit such a low point in my life, because of a bunch of things that were going on and happening, and again, because of choices that I was making, and so I was lower, it made me go in really, really deep into learning about myself, getting into self-care, self-love, diving into the understandings of what happens with us brain-wise to get us in and out of different states, finally getting in control of my emotions, which I've never really been able to do my entire life. The only way that I controlled my emotions before was by limiting access to me. So I would just not be in relationships, or I've just like cut off, everything that I could, which ended up just being me. And that wasn't a great way, obviously, but because when it came down to it, when I was left only with myself, I still had obviously a lot of work to do. I still think it was like in my best interest to do that so I could focus solely on me, but obviously there was still a lot of work to do. But because of all of that and all that research, and obviously if I'm going to share with you my top 20 influencers that I went really hard and studied quite a bit on this topic, right? And I'm that type of person, like I'm really emotional and very sensitive. So if I'm feeling down, like I have to figure out how to get myself out of it because it's going to be devastating to me. And it was devastating. So I went super hard and learned everything I could. And because of that, I'm no longer in a place where I reach only mediocre happiness. I've now been to lots of seminars and have learned lots of different techniques that now can get me into a joy level up here. And so again, it wasn't, I'm grateful for that downtime because it made me realize. And a lot of people will do this too with maybe their physical health, as an example, things, it's always like hitting rock bottom. It's like if your health, like if you're kind of okay with your health and then all of a sudden you really, for me, like I let things go. And then I got a huge wake up call with doctors and pre-diabetes and all this other stuff that I was no longer, or hopefully, knock on wood, I'm no longer going to go up to mediocre level. I'm going to study and I'm learning everything that I can and going to implement things so that I'm no longer here, I'm up here, right? So I'll just say that if and when, any of us get into a dire time frame, it's probably for the good as long as we get the lessons and as long as we do the work, right? So anyhow, all right, let's get into it. I'm going to try to make this so fast, and let's go. Okay, there is an alarm. All right, this is not really in any particular order in terms of best to worst. This is kind of the order in which I ended up being led on, okay, in terms of 3 years ago maybe it's even 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago when I started, and knew that I had to make a huge change, and then went from there. So I'm going to kind of just take you through my journey, okay? And you'll see that there's so many different kinds, and I'll try to explain very, very fast. Okay, number one for sure, Mr. Tony Robbins himself. Absolutely. And if you don't know who Tony Robbins is, I mean, he's just like the personal development man of potentially of the century. He, has, I don't even know, $500 million in businesses that he does now, because he's really focusing on business, but he's focusing on basically what it says here, igniting your life. He does a lot of seminars and events, which of course right now are all virtual, but I'm positive that they are absolutely amazing. The way that I got started with him was actually watching the Netflix documentary, I Am Not Your Guru. It follows one of his mega events, Date with Destiny, which I did get to go to, thank goodness, right before everything happened with the pandemic, and life-changing for sure. So if you watch this documentary, then you'll kind of get a glimpse of him. But then after that, I would say, if you YouTube Tony Robbins, you'll understand there's like so much content that he'll give with explaining how we work in our mindset. So I love when it's not just motivation, right? Because motivation is blah, blah, blah. I need to understand how my brain works with my body. How can I tap into what I need to tap into to be my best for myself, and then joy and success and all these things. And success because I want to be successful not only for myself but for others, because the more we have, the more we have to give. So I would say start with Netflix. And then what I did is, if you look here at his store, he's got so many different programs, like a ton of programs. But the one that I started off with at the very beginning was the Ultimate Edge. It is an app that you can put on your phone, and it walks you through step by step of listening to the content and then doing some exercises. And the other one that I didn't put on here is basically Awaken the Giant Within, the audiobook. So that one, if you can listen to that, or if you're a reader, you can read it. I'm a audiobook person, so I would say Awaken the Giant Within, fantastic audiobook or book if you can read it. So that's Tony Robbins. And then also his Tony Robbins podcast, this is all about business. And what's great about it is you listen to the stories, because they usually tell the stories of these amazing entrepreneurs or people, and you hear what they did, why they did, and they're usually heart-focused businesses and how they started from X, Y, and Z and got to where they're going. So Tony Robbins, number one. Number two is Joseph McClendon. Now, I learned from Joseph McClendon because he, to me, seems like Tony Robbins' right-hand man. When I went to Tony Robbins events, Joseph McClendon was literally the man on the stage a lot of time. He is hilarious. He is so funny. And I think he's like, I don't even know, like a neurologist, like some brain doctor type of person. He is so freaking smart and hilarious, and I just absolutely love Joseph McClendon. Now, I have not gone to any of his events. I've only known him from the events that I went to Tony Robbins, and he was a major player. I will say, if you are interested in Joseph McClendon, he is super active on Facebook and on Instagram. Hilarious. He will keep you neuropsychologist. That's what he is. Just a fantastic guy. So number two, Joseph McClendon. Number three, Marie Kondo and the KonMari method. This was really critical in my life. Who is she? She is a Japanese woman who is known for tidying up people's homes, but it's more than that. She believes that basically everyone can't reach its potential, that I might mess this up. I'm going to interpret it my way, but that people may not be able to know their true selves and may not be able to reach their true happiness levels until they go through and what she calls a tidying festival, where you basically go through a very specific process of all of the things in your home, and you find out if it sparks joy or not. And if it doesn't, you're able to thank it and allow it to move on by donating it. Or if it's not even something that, you know, is donatable, that you're finally allowed to thank it and let it move on and, you know, clear your space and your energy. So you hold on to things that spark joy. She's a best-selling author. People probably, you've probably heard of her by now. She is fantastic. And I went through that process, and let me tell you, I'm still kind of going through the process because it'll be like a second or third round with it, but it is life-changing. And what I've said before about this process is that if there's anybody out there that's trying to become like your most joyful, you're trying to reach an elevated stance in your life, whether it's spiritual or whatever, I mean, it makes sense that we may not be able to get there quite yet until we at least figure out how to master our surroundings, our physical objects. So if we can't master our physical objects that we live with in our homes and only have things that spark joy, then how can we expect for us to start elevating everything within our, you know, our spiritual realm and our soul realm? And the other thing that she explains, which I completely agree with, is that when you go through the process, you basically learn what sparks joy in your life by being able, and again, it's a whole process. You should listen to the audiobooks or read the books, or go to a KonMari consultant, which, by the way, I am in training, and so contact me if you're interested to be a consultant for it. But basically, that you learn what sparks joy and not. And as you go through the process, you start to hone in and understand that muscle of realizing what sparks joy in your life. And once you've done that with your belongings, then everything else in your life just kind of magically happens, that, you know, you start not wanting to talk or deal with people unless they spark joy or not. You don't want to do work unless that sparks joy or not, etc., etc. So it's fantastic. I would say that for sure the Tony Robbins stuff and the Marie Kondo, those two things alone were the biggest influences of my life that really helped me get out of a very, very dark place. And so I would start with those two if you're interested. And for the month of March, I'm thinking about going through a Marie Kondo process. So just keep that in mind if that's something that interests you. Now, the one thing I will say with KonMari and Marie Kondo is that she does have also a Netflix series called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. I believe it's been very popular. It showcases one element, or, you know, a few. I haven't watched all of them, but I will say the audiobooks spark joy, and, you know, I think there's 2 or 3 that are out now. That's what really got it for me, is listening to audiobooks. And then also she has a talk at Google, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, where she explains and walks through the process. And so that might be interesting if you want to Google that. I would normally put all these links, but this is a lot of links. That's why I need to get that JLOVES.com website so I can have all the links nice and tidy. But we'll see what I'm able to do here in the next couple of days. All right, so moving on to Marie Kondo's number 3. Number 4, Jen Sincero. She is an author, and she has one of the best books that I think everybody should listen to that's in the self-help arena. And the first one is the You Are a Badass. And normally I would not even like kind of be appealed at a book like that, because I don't even know why. I'd just be like, badass. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't naturally connect with it, but I learned from it through something on Facebook, and I'm telling you, it is one of the best audiobooks I've ever listened to. She explains things in a way that really resonates. I mean, she's such a good storyteller and explains her whole life. She lays it all out on the line, and you really connect. I also had a cousin that listens to the audiobook, and she felt the same way. It's just a fantastic audiobook, or again, a book if you end up reading it. And then the second one that came out was a You Are a Badass at Making Money. Equally just as good. So this is the order in which it goes, first, second, and then right now I'm actually listening to the well, no, actually, I did listen to You Are a Badass every day, which is great. And the fourth one is The Habit. So that's the one that I'm listening to now. So if you resonate with her, she is fantastic. I love her. She's also active, I'm sure, on Instagram. I'll try to tell you when I know people are active on certain things. Marie Kondo, she's active on Instagram, but I'm sure this is, marketing people, etc. So Jen Sincero, number 4. Number 5, Conni, I don't want to mess up her last name, Biesalski? I'm not sure, but as you can see, mental, emotional, and creative superpowers for a meaningful life. I love this woman. She's just fantastic. I learned from her YouTube channel. She has so many things: personal growth, mindful productivity, and creativity. She is just amazing, beautiful human soul, just so much to offer. I would say if you end up resonating with her, then please take a look. Right now she's really into breath work, which I have not gotten into, but she's done so many things, helps so many creatives, and then she has lots of programs that you can buy too that help you discover your passion or what you might want to do for work. If you're one of those people that are like, I don't know, I might want to change up or something like that. Oh yeah, find your calling, how to find your calling. So check out Conni if you're interested in that. Now and then here's Conni on Instagram. And again, she's got a few different Instagrams, but she's just fantastic, beautiful woman. Okay, so the next few that I'm going to talk about are during that time frame that I was going through that. There was some focus that I was doing at the time, and it was very focused on, my background is in technology training, but I started becoming very focused on social media, YouTube content creation, and things like that, right? And business mindset, because I was kind of leaving the regular, law firm / corporate type job and starting to venture into my own. And I really needed a lot of help understanding this big world that is like, what? And of course the social media parts and the YouTube content creation and all of that was very new to me. And unfortunately, I just didn't know anybody, in my circle, which my circle's so small, that I could collaborate with. Plus I was still kind of going through some social anxiety stuff. So I ended up making best friends with people, some of the best people on YouTube. And you can literally do this. You can clear all of your accounts and just start focusing in on following people in a particular niche that you're interested in or that you need to learn from, and you'll just get the feed and you can start interacting right away and learning right away. So just keep that in mind, that the next few might not resonate with people who don't care about business mindsets or YouTube or social media content. But again, I'm just sharing my whole journey just in case it's interesting. All right, so number 6, Roberto Blake. This man is an absolute genius, and his entire thing about him is about empowering other people. So basically he helps people do all kinds of things. Creators build brands. So he's into branding, marketing, YouTube content. He has over like 1,000 videos on YouTube. He has so much stuff. It's crazy. Like, he literally has these programs where if you wanted to get started on YouTube, you can download YouTube templates and walk you through everything. He's super active on a lot of the channels. I would say Twitter, Instagram for sure, YouTube, and even LinkedIn. He's one of the best too with LinkedIn, but just an amazing person. Check out his YouTube channel and his other things. Fantastic guy. All right, number 7, Think Media. These two people that started it, amazing. Sean and this is his wife Sonia. And it looks like they have a much bigger team than before, but yeah, so heavy on YouTube. Plus they have a book, they wrote a book basically on YouTube, and they help with so much in terms of what kind of gear to shoot with, podcasts. I mean, their mission is to get people into thinking about media, and here it is, building your influence online. And they're really geared. They come from a good-hearted place, started from nowhere and built such an amazing, business and community. And their whole focus is on helping people. Okay, so number 8, The Futur. This run by Chris. I don't want to mess his last name. Dudo. Also the same thing. They have a ton of YouTube videos, and they have like a bunch of courses, and they help with so much stuff. In fact, let me pull up really quick the Futur YouTube. They help with a lot of stuff, not just content creation, but it's basically about helping creatives understand business and how to make money doing what they love. It's definitely geared towards creatives, but really you can learn so much, like building a brand, whiteboard sessions, turning passion into profit. So it's not just about creative. It's literally about what you can do like with your life. But then there's also things about how to get a job, graphic design, starting an agency, branding and marketing. But I'm telling you, Chris is amazing human being. He wants to be a billionaire, meaning that he wants to touch a billion people's lives. You know, most of the people that I follow have really strong, good-hearted missions. All right, so that's number 8. Number 9, you can see there's a whole diverse people. The Skinny Confidential by Lauryn Bosstick. Bosstick. She is amazing. This woman has it going on, and she's completely different, as you can see. Her focus is a whole mixed bag of things. I would say she is very big into Instagram, you know, building businesses. She has a super popular podcast, and she is also into beauty things and stuff like that, but she's just as real as it can get. And she really does, again, help people build their businesses, their brands, and etc. But she also, her and her husband are really big in promoting women. So check her out on Instagram and or on this website, and the podcast is amazing. I don't listen to the podcast as much because there's some others, and I'm not as into the beauty scene. But so honestly, I don't even know what the podcast has been about mostly lately. If it's more well, here it says beauty, wellness, business, mindset, resources, relationship, blogging tips. Yeah, so it's a fantastic, look at this, 8,000 plus 5-star reviews. So she is just amazing. All right, number 10, Tasha, Cochran, and One Big Happy Life. These people are from DMV, and I absolutely love them. This is all about wealth building and living happy and business coaching. In fact, I was one of Tasha's first groups of people that she did business coaching for, and it was absolutely amazing. She knows business. If you want to follow her, she is most active on YouTube and on Instagram. But on YouTube, they share literally all of their money things that they talk about. They update every month what their financial goals are, their net worth. They've been doing it for a really long time. Super interesting. She was an attorney, and she stopped being an attorney to go full-time in her business. You know, here it is, Create Your Financial Dream Life. Amazing woman. Again, helped me not only with the financial, starting to learn the financial things, but I really followed her mostly for the business mindset and taking her business classes. But yeah, here you see wealth building and living will. And she's just got signed a book deal. So she'll be having a book that comes out pretty soon. So that's her on there. Okay, number 11, Stormy Wellington. Okay, this woman, you know, it's hard for me to explain what she does, but she's basically like a millionaire coach. I mean, she says millionaire. She helps all women, and she basically can coach you to greatness. And it's hard for me to explain, but let's see. Stormy Wellington, her books are amazing. I haven't gone through them fully, but she's also an author. And I really, if you're going to follow her, I would say follow her on Instagram, and you'll get to know who she is really well. She's also active on Facebook as well. And here's girlholdmyhand.com. This is her monthly coaching session. Let me see if it has any information on there, but you can usually, $69 a month, and basically you get access to all of this daily live meditation, 2 calls every month, which is live video with her, access to past 14, etc. Fantastic woman, and she's there for people. Okay, number 12, Ed Mylett. Mylett? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Now, here's someone who I actually have not read or listened to any of his books. He's just someone that I came across through really his podcast and his YouTube podcast. And there are a few podcasts that I'm like, as soon as one comes out, I'm like, I'm pretty much going to listen to it. And his is absolutely one of those. So I would say the Max Out YouTube channel, or listening to on Spotify or one of those, just fantastic. He interviews the best of the best, all kinds of ranges. He's a fantastic interviewer, and you just learn about business mindset, self-confidence, just all kinds of great things. Okay, number 13, Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary, if you don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk, this is like the social media master, and he is super big on like just getting people and shaking them up and being like, what are you doing? Get happy now. And that's like the best way I can explain him. If you don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, please Google him, look on YouTube. He's most active, I would say, probably on Instagram and Twitter, to my knowledge. But this guy he knows branding and social media like nobody's business, and he's always hip on the latest things to do. And he's a great guy. Again, big heart, big mission. Number 14, Brendon. I'm definitely going to mess up his name because I don't even know if I've ever heard it. Now, he's another one that I have not really dove into quite yet. But I will say that every time I've come across and listened to a YouTube video here and there, to me, he's right on point. I'm understanding what he's putting down. But he's one that I probably need to like get into a little bit more. But I just want to put it out there. Again, you never know who somebody might resonate with a little bit more. And as you can see, I have a whole range of types of people. Okay, moving on. So the next 4 are going to be a little bit more on the spiritual side of things. Okay, so some of them might be a little out there. Okay, the first one is the most out there, Dr Master Sha. Okay, this one is as far out there in terms of the spirit land as I've ever gone. Okay, so this is not going to necessarily resonate with everybody for sure. I don't even know if I can explain who he is and what he does. A spiritual person that has a ton of books and a ton of ideas and philosophies and things like that. One of the biggest philosophies that I resonated with and that I thought was incredibly powerful are these calligraphy things. I'm going to try to explain it in like 5 seconds that I know, and I don't know a lot about it yet. I have a bunch of the books, I haven't read them yet. But there's this one calligraphy that I think what is explained is if you do it over and over again, it's almost like creating a channel directly to heaven. And people who apparently don't do anything else, don't do any other spiritual work at all they do is do this one calligraphy over and over and over again, their lives change for the better. Now, again, I don't know if that's true, that, but I can promise you, I was doing that calligraphy and it was beautiful and it felt amazing. So if you're interested in that at all, I would say YouTube search it and, look on here, drsha.com. I have a doctor that I truly respect and love, and she loves Dr. Master Sha, and just the fact that she loves him is like eye-opening to me and makes me, made me believe. And I've taken some seminars and some events and stuff with him, online. And I did find them amazing. They are going to be a little bit on the other side of things in terms of spirituality. Now, I'm just going to point out, like, this is the shopping tool, and you'll see there, he's got so many books. He has written a lot of books and a lot of things. So he's been around for quite some time. Look at this. This is a lot. Like, how do you even write all these books? Right? The one thing I will say too, with him, like, again, you can YouTube and find out what it is, but there's this one song that's really interesting that I think he wrote, I'm pretty sure he wrote, it's called Love, Peace, and Harmony. This is the YouTube, and one of the things that he states is that if you play this song and you play it in your home, maybe even in your business, it really opens up your heart and the energies and channels and all this. And I will say that I've played this song, and Natalie and I will sing it through the day. We haven't done it honestly in a little while. I might go back and play it here and there, but we were doing it a lot. You remember when I was going through my tough times and stuff, I was doing it all, right? So I was playing this back to back, and I don't know if it's just by way of placebo and me thinking, oh, this is getting better, this is making me better, but hey, it one way or another, it worked. So if you need some peace, love, peace, and harmony in your home, this is a great song. Here, find it on YouTube, and just see what fits. All right, number 16, Dr. Joe Dispenza. This man is a genius. How can I explain him? Okay, so he is a doctor, and I might butcher this up, so please don't take my absolute word for it. Google, YouTube, etc. him. But this is him right here. He was a doctor, and he got into a bad bike accident, and he got into a position where they thought he might not be able to walk again. He was going to need this major surgery, blah, 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 blah. And he had already kind of thought about different ideas about his brain and his spirit, maybe healing his body. And he said on that bed that he didn't want to get the surgery because I think if he got the surgery, there was a ton of good chance that he was going to be limited in what he could do physically. And so he decided to not listen to the multiple doctors that were giving him that advice. And he basically made a promise and said, if I focus and heal myself the way that I believe that the mind can do, I promise I will live the rest of my life learning the most of it and then teaching it to others. And that is exactly what he's done. And obviously you can see he's helping so many people. He has so many events. I would say that his book, which book is it? It's, let me just see. He's got meditations that I've not listened to, but the book, Becoming Supernatural, that's the one that I've listened to, again on audiobook, but I would read that or listen to it if you're interested. That's a good opener. But again, if you Google him, Dr. Joe Dispenza on YouTube, you will be amazed listening to the interviews, listening to him talk. He is literally a genius. He's a doctor or neuro something, and just an amazing person and a wonderful healer. Anytime I hear somebody that says that they're in physical something, then I say to them, please go just research him and just listen to some of the things, because you never know if he was able to heal himself in a way, I don't know, it's at least to me worth a shot, and I certainly believe in it as well. Okay, number 17. Now this is kind of it is what it is, but I always go back to Oprah Winfrey's Soul, SuperSoul Sundays. On Facebook is where I end up watching it, because I don't even know if it's posted at the same time on YouTube, but every Sunday she does an interview, or at least she was for a long time. And those SuperSoul Sundays are just amazing. These interviews with amazing people, just learning about life and etc. Oprah is the queen of this. I love Oprah, and yeah, so I just wanted to put that in there. All right, so number 18. This is one of my favorites right now. I am all about Sadhguru. I am literally all about Sadhguru right now, because he's one of the ones that I've just recently learned about. I can't even tell you how it came across, but he is just wise beyond imagination. I could listen to him talk forever. And if you put in Sadhguru in YouTube, you're going to find a million things, but he also has a fantastic app. His technology is on point. When I say his, I mean he has a huge team, right? And there's an app, and it has this thing called Sadhguru Exclusive, where it's really, really inexpensive, and you literally get exclusive videos and teachings and things like that of him. That's fantastic. I would say start with just Googling him on YouTube and finding that, and then his book, Inner Engineering. Yep, here we go. Inner Engineering. This is the book, so you can listen to it or buy it, but you can also enroll in it. And just, I'm not going to spend too much time explaining it, but you can. It's a course-like thing. You have to watch it throughout. So there's no rewind, right? So you have to be like 6 or 7 days ideally, or in a couple weeks, taking the program. Life-changing for sure, and very inexpensive. I want to say it's $99 or less. They were doing a special for, you know, for people during this time, but I don't know if that's still going on. But either the book, well, I did both. I did the book and I enrolled into the course. Let's see first. Oh yeah, free for healthcare professionals. Yep, free for healthcare professionals. So it is just, I'm telling you, it is mind blowing. He is just a genius. And again, it's not just spirit. He like connects everything with it. And he's just, there's no way I can even explain who he is, what he does in this lifetime. He's just absolutely amazing. I love him. All right. And the last two are new. I don't know a whole lot about, but they are worth mentioning for sure. The 19 is JJ Smith. The reason why I came across her is because she is like a nutritionist and certified weight loss expert, passionate about relationship life coach and inspirational speaker. She does these keto smoothie cleanses, green smoothie cleanse, and all these things, and helping people and in a way that like tastes good. So I don't know like a whole lot about her, but I will say if you are on a fitness journey or a health journey, check her out. She is definitely active, JJ Smith, on Instagram and Facebook. I don't think on Twitter. I'm not sure about YouTube. I would say Instagram and Facebook for sure, and then check out her website. Okay, and then last but not least, there is someone I've been following on Instagram that I really love. She goes by Debtfreegonnabe, and she is just fantastic human being and just helping people understand money, debt-free journey tracking, things of that nature. And I just love having her on my Instagram feed because she's super funny, she's real, and she shares her journey of how she's paying debt off and things of that nature. And so I really like her, so she was worth mentioning. And then last but not least, I just want to mention one book that was really fantastic. It is a small, easy read. Again, I did it by audiobook. It's called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And you know, normally when I would see a book cover like this, like, oh my gosh, this is like really serious, like that seems scary, and I didn't know if I would need to listen to a book like this, but it was recommended to me, and I will say it's a fantastic short read or short listen. And of course you can get it on audiobook. Of course this person shares their story and just, you know, why we need to love ourselves. And I was going through that time frame of really diving deep in self-care and self-love. This book and this audiobook was a huge help. There's so many other books and people. I mean, really, I'm not even mentioning anybody in my family, but of course there's so many people in my family, like my cousin / brother pal, that are inspiration, my Uncle Buddy who's inspiration, just so many people that are inspiring to me outside of, you know, these people. But I just wanted to at least give some resources that you know, you can reach. But you can also reach, you know, my cousin, brother, pal, because he's at the compound at Silver Spring, which is a BJJ, mixed martial arts, and they're all about empowerment for women, kids, men of all kinds, and, you know, being healthy, being fit, and learning how to defend, and learning a new type of martial art or thing like that is of course going to help us. So he's also a resource available. He just doesn't have like a book or anything out yet. Maybe in the future there's a podcast or something like that in the works. But that is all, folks. That was a lot. I don't even know how long I've been going. Hopefully it's been recording. But I'm going to let you guys go. I got to get this at least uploaded, and I love you. I hope, you know, if you're into the self-help area, maybe someone in here resonated with you that you want to check out. You can see, I mean, this is a lot of people that I've been studying for the last 2 or 3 years, and this isn't even like the full list of people that I normally follow, but I've gone pretty deep. So I hope you also can keep that in mind, that when I'm sharing anything on JLOVES, maybe if it's about a philosophy or a thought process, that, you know, you can at least safely know that I'm pulling this information not just from my own thoughts or feelings, that, you know, I've acquired quite a bit of knowledge. I've spent money that I didn't have at the time on going to all these things because I really needed to help myself. And now that I've helped myself, I feel so much better. I'm so grateful for that. Of course, the only thing that makes sense to me is to help anyone else that I could potentially help, even if it's, 1 or 2 people. I'm so happy to do it. All right, so that is all, folks. I love you guys. I hope you're doing great, and I will see you tomorrow.